Okay, and also you can go through that some kind of Maven kind of dependency, how to set the dependency and all those things. And there is a GitHub creation, so you can create a new email address and start creating a new GitHub account as well. Okay, so these are the four activity you can complete tomorrow, like next session. Okay, so it is a self-explanatory. If anything, just reach out to me as a WhatsApp. So I have WhatsApp number, this one. Okay, and these are the kind of installation, right? So install Java, Maven, and IntelliJ in your machines, and there is a pom.xml in the basic details I explained, and how to create a GitHub account, right? So these are the videos. So now coming back to the basic of Cucumber. So let me open that. Uh, yeah, and how what is the framework structure we are going to use, and how we are going to drive our framework, right? So that I will going to explain. So here we are using a framework structure like Selenium with Cucumber. So Selenium with Cucumber we call as a BDD. Okay, behavior driven development. Okay, so what is a behavior development? Okay, what is a Selenium? As we know, Selenium is a web automation tool, and it has been like kind of 11 or like 12 years old, and which has like kind of Selenium was started like different versions like Selenium 1 and all those things. So currently Selenium.dev is a website where we can find the latest version is Selenium 4. Okay, Selenium 4 is the latest version, and we have a like a Selenium WebDriver we call as a Selenium WebDriver. So let me show you that. So here, so currently we call as a Selenium R WebDriver also. There is a 4.0 version is currently. Okay, so I'm also going to explain that 4.0 only, so which has the latest feature, and by using that I can build that one BDD Cucumber framework. Okay, so now let's move on to that. So what is the like kind of BDD, and why we have a, like other kind of frameworks also, but why the Cucumber framework is on demand these days? Okay, because we are working as a agile methodology. So agile methodology in the sense we are having a ambiguous of different kind of roles, right? So test role and product owner roles and developer role. So due to this kind different kind of roles, right? So everybody can understand what exactly we are performing a test, or what we are. Everybody can understand the strategy of a user acceptance. Okay, so what exactly user needs. So we need to understand everybody, and that need to be satisfied, and that need to be validated at the end of the time. Okay, so then we can get the feedback from the business owner. So who gives that story or definition, or what user activity, what exactly he want, and the tester or developer, the make them to design and the test of the code feasibility, and we can also we have a challenges and building a story to development, and then it comes to testing level. So testing, so we have to perform some testing, so based on the requirement, based on the user story acceptance criteria, so such a way that we need to build our automation test case. So to do for that this BDD is a kind of plain English language. Okay, so let me show you that. So BDD is a kind of it is a kind of plain English language. Okay, basically, Cucumber is a testing approach. Okay, and it is a behavior driven. So behavior driven in the sense BDD. So it provides a way to write that kind of test cases. It is a pure English language. Okay, and also it supports a multiple language: Java, Selenium, Java, Ruby. So all those things. Okay, and what is the main terminology which you use in the automation, right? So basically, we use a feature. Okay, feature means what we automate, and definition, how to automate, and test runner. All the test cases are that need to be automated. Something kind of way it has been derived. Okay, so and what are the advantages? So advantages, coming to advantages side, right? It is a kind of one standard template. I will show you that template as well. So this template which drive as like a scenario, and each scenario has a one business value. So one business value means scenario in the sense, suppose a login scenario. So what are the login test cases which are going to validate based on the scenario, and which that is a one business value, the functionality level, the login test case should be evaluated or designed. Okay, and in terms of test coverage, right? So if I write in a plain English language the test cases, then everybody can understand. Okay, so every member, my team can understand what exactly the test case has been derived. Okay, and this test case is like a kind of we can use this test case as a manual and automation. Okay, so this test cases can be written as a manual or like use like a normal way. Okay, so to do that we need a kind of three keywords. Okay, so there is a keyword called given, when, then approach. Okay, so the followed by a given, when, then approach. So you can see that diagram here. Okay, so you can see the diagram here, like given. Given is the initial state. So in terms of testing, we call as a prerequisite. Okay, so when is the kind of actions. So what are the steps we need to perform the one test case activity. Okay, then is a kind of outcome, or we need to like evaluate the acceptance criteria, what exactly user want in the finishing of the test. Okay, so this manner, so we can drive that kind of BD framework. So let's how I will draw one kind of a detailed diagram, and we are going to develop that kind of develop the framework. Okay, so first I will mention the diagram here, how we are going to like what are the activities, what are the component, we can say that architecture of the framework. Okay, so let me write here. So it is a hybrid framework with Cucumber. Okay, and page object model. So usually in what is a page object model, I will tell you, no problem. So this is the like framework architecture I'm going to create. So to do that, as I told you, right? So there are some layers. Okay. So today maybe you will, if you have knowledge, you will able to see, you will be able to understand. If not, no problem. But the next session, actual whatever the diagram is going to implement in the real time. Okay. So let's follow the diagram step by step. Then you come to know. Okay. Yeah. Let me clear this one. So now I'm going to create some kind of layers. Okay. So the first layer is a feature file layer. Please be with me sometime. You will understand step by step. No problem. Okay. So let me create my first layer called feature file. So what is a feature file? How to write? The next session you will come to know. There is a feature file layer. Okay, in this feature file layer, so most of the time we have a login feature. Suppose I will write some example here. So a different based on the functionality, we used to write a individual component. Okay, in the feature file layer, so there is a feature I'm going to test, and that feature name is login. So I'll write a login feature. Okay, so let me login dot feature. So this is my feature file, all login related functionalities which will be derived at a scenario level. Okay, so scenario level, right? So what is the scenario? Here we can say scenario is like S1 and S1. It is a, the format is given, when, and then format. Okay, most of the time given, then when format only. Here feature file is a kind of one specific feature. Okay, so suppose here we have taken a login feature, right? So login function, login related test cases or scenarios which will be derived as a Cucumber format. Okay, so here specific to the functionality, we created a one particular feature file. Similarly, if we have another feature like a home page or registration page, let me create a registration page. So there is a one more feature file you have, like you can create a registration. Okay, register. Let me registration feature dot feature file. Okay, dot feature file. So all the registration related test cases or test scenarios are derived in the place of here. Okay. So now similarly we can have like a home page. So we can create a home page test case as well. Okay. Yeah, home page home page home page dot feature file. So here the the modularization, like of every specific layer. Okay, the feature file in the sense a given then format which can be understandable everyone. Okay, so in the same thing, login feature and registration feature. So every individual feature there is a one particular kind of file, feature file. So what is a feature file? We are going to see later. Follow. So this is the way we can derive it. Okay. So here home page dot feature file. Okay. Yeah, let me drag it. Yeah. So this is the way we will also one create a kind of one component feature layer, and we will all create a respective feature. So then after, so there is a one more layer that is a step definition layer. So let me create. So every in the Cucumber, every feature file, okay, every feature file, there is a one step definition. So what is meant by a feature file? What is the definition? I'm going to explain. So let me first create a kind of one layer. So that is a feature file definition. Okay. So it is a login step definition. So what I will do, I will write a login step definition dot Java file. Step definition dot Java file. So here we will place the name. Let me drag it. Sorry. Yeah. So here you can see if there is a one feature file. So here I will explain what is the difference between feature file and step definition. Suppose a feature file is a kind of a plain English language. Okay. So each step, let me show you that as well. So let me go to here. Cucumber IO. So there is a website called Cucumber IO. So where we can get all the Cucumber related functionality, and you can see that the simple test case. Okay, so now here you can see as I am talking about the feature file, right? So this is the one kind of feature file and one scenario. Okay, one feature file. So let me allow this one, and I will explain it. Okay, you see that. So the three amigos, right? The tester, developer, and the product owner. So everybody can understand what exactly the scenario, what exactly the requirement. So the requirement has been written in a plain English language. Okay. So you see that feature colon, eating a too many cucumbers may not be good for you. So that is a kind of one a functionality, right? So and eating too much of anything may not be good for us, right? Good for you. Okay. So this is a kind of feature we are going to test. Okay. So the developer has built based on this feature only. Now we are going to test. Okay. So the first one is scenario. Okay, the first one scenario is one test case. Okay, in terms of test case, testing side, the scenario is a one test case. So what is the scenario name? Test case name is eating a few is no problem. Eating a few cucumbers, there is a no problem, right? So that we are going to test. So the given. So as I told, so given and when and then. So these are the all of them are which are colored, right? So all of them are which are in a color. Those are a kind of cucumber keywords. Okay, those are cucumber keywords. So those are cucumber keywords. Yeah. So now, so this colored, right? All of them are cucumber keywords, scenario, feature, and tags. Okay. So once we integrated with our framework, so we can also see this colored one. And each keyword has some specific, right? Scenario. So then it will understand, okay, it is a eating few is a no problem scenario. And given, right? So given is a prerequisite. So Alice is angry. Okay. So he's hungry. Then she can eat three cucumbers. So these are the steps. When is a step, and then then she will be full. Okay. So she will be full. So what is that acceptance criteria? Then. So when it is full, after eating of three cucumber only, she will be full. So that is the way we can derive as a one kind of feature. So here it is a English language. So what we are going to do is each given when then step. Okay, each given when then step, we will create a kind of Java code. Okay, so but we need to test the automation side, right? So we need to write a code for each step. Okay, for when given step we have one step, and when step we have another coding standard. Okay, it is a plain English language with respect to one kind of step for a coding. Java side method, some kind of methods are there. So that method will be derived here. So that is the case we are mapping. So feature file is going to map a one Java class, that is a Java step definition. Actual how she is going to be eat some kind of thing. Okay, so in term of real time, so we are going to launch a browser. What is the mechanism to launch a browser? Just we'll say that launch a browser, but how exactly the automation will take care about the code to launch that one. So that kind of stuff which will be placed in the step definition file. So that is the reason we call as a every feature file there is a one step definition file. So that is I mentioned, that is a .java file. So actual code will be there. Okay, actual code will be there. Okay, similarly like so we have a annotations something. So there is a given at the rate given. Okay, so given annotation for a given step, there is a given annotation, and there is a when step. So there is a when annotation, and so there is a then step. So there is a then annotation. So based on that mapping of the keywords, actually we uh, derived the test here. Okay, so let me get it here. Yeah. So every login step definition or any step definition Java file, we have a given then. So here also we have a given then, a plain English language. Okay. So here given when then. Same thing, mapping of that in a Java language also we have to derive it. So by the way, we will fulfill this particular step definition layer. So we call this layer called as a second layer, and that layer name is step definition layer. Step definition layer. Step def. Okay. So clear about this two layer, right? Yes. Now next move on to the kind of page layer. So now we are going to talk about one more layer, page layer. So let me create that layer, and Yeah. The layer name is third layer. It is a page layer. In this page layer, so we are more interested to develop a particular page. Okay, so particular page related information. So basically page layer. So it is a login page. So login page, I will create a login page .java login page .java file. So what we can hold here, right? Inside that are locators. Okay, locators. So what is meant by locators? I'll tell you. Locators and actions. Okay, so action. Suppose if I open a website card and we are going to perform all the test cases on Orange HRM. So this is a site, open source site, where we can perform our 3 test cases or 4 test cases which are going to build. So this is an open source application, Orange HRM. Okay, so there is a login screen we are going to automate. So once we landed this page, right? So once we login page is landed, so now here we can see in manual testing what we can do. So we can enter that username here and we can enter the password. So the password and the username are given here. So we can use and we can click it. So by the way, we can confirm that it is login successful. It will be navigated to the dashboard page, right? But in terms of automation, okay, so Selenium, and we have to provide the locators. So we need some kind of basic knowledge of inspecting element. So what does mean is, so I want to enter the data into this particular username as an admin, but we need to provide the instruction or guide to that automation. So where is it is located? So in the back end, in the HTML point of view, we have given a locator concept. Okay, so there is a HTML page is developed for this particular test box as an input type. So this input type is a kind of one tag in the HTML, and this tag has a list of attributes. So this is a tag where the developers, while designing a web page, they added the some kind of tag is a input tag, and it has some kind of attributes, class attribute, name attribute, placeholder attribute, right? So we need to provide a these we call as a locators in terms of Selenium. Okay, Selenium has some kind of predefined locators based on this particular HTML W3 standard structure. So they added a direct enhancement, direct interact with the ID, name, okay, direct ID, name, and link text, okay, and export some other things. Okay, so let me write it here. So ID and name, okay, and links, okay, and there is a kind of XPath and CSS. So here CSS or CSS class name. So these are the basic locators based on the W3 standard. So what does mean by W3 standard? So who are going to, there is a kind of standard. Whoever develop the particular web page, they have to follow the standard and designing of the web page. Okay. So based on that, they used to use a ID most of the time, name, and some kind of links, link text. Okay, and some kind of CSS and classes. So based on that, the Selenium or Playwright guys have developed their own locators to identify the particular username text box is available on the page by using these locators. So here, similarly, you can see that there is a name directly given. So what is a name equal to? Username. So we need to provide this kind of information to the particular Selenium, then Selenium which will be identified and do the action. So what is the action? Entering the data. So there are some kind of predefined functions which are provided by the Selenium guys like click, send, data enter, okay, and check boxes. So all those all those web action activities are they define some kind of reusable methods which are going to be reused, right? So by using this name and placeholder, so we can capture this kind of information and we call it as locators. Okay, so those locators will place it here. Okay, those locators which are going to place it here. Okay, let me clear this one. And also And also where I mentioned that action set locators are like this kind of ID name and action in the sense this page. What is the functionality action? So let me show you that. So once you enter the username password, okay, there is a login functionality. So to do this kind of step, we have a login functionality. There is a one more functionality, forget password functionality. Okay, and also you can verify that the header. Okay, so there are three functionalities, and also you can verify this label is displayed at four functionalities. And the third next one is yeah, thank you. So these are the image verification, okay, and text verification, and this is a kind of functionality verification, and this is a kind of like another functionality like forget password, and there is a kind of footer kind of verification. So these are the activities, these are the functions, or these are the functionality on the web page. Those we call as a actions. So that is the case I mentioned in that diagram. So locators in the sense backend HTML locators, okay, HTML attributes, and the actions in the sense what is exactly the functionality we are going to perform on the particular login page. So those will be derived here. Okay, in every login page layer, those are the information it will be there. Clear? Yeah. Yes. And next one is, so next, these are the three layers. So respect to for this, let me draw the diagram first. So give me some time. So so feature file also we have a feature dot definition, and also let me complete this diagram. And home page also we have a home page diagram. Let me provide the names here. So it is a registration dot registration step definition step def dot java file. Similarly, it is a home page, right? Home page step definition dot java. Okay, and similarly, we can give that page layers. So here we can provide. Sorry, we can select the block respective pages registration page registration page registration page dot java. Okay, next one which we are going to create is home page. Home page dot java. Okay, so as I mentioned, as I told you, right, every page we have a locator and actions. Okay, so there are kind of communication. So once you, this is a layer where we can see our three ambiguities like a tester, okay, test engineer and developer and product owner, where they can verify that, okay, what exactly that, what are the test coverage you are performing. Okay, so they can, it is a plain English language. Okay, feature file layer is a plain English language, everybody can understand by using the given then format. So what we are going to do, so backend, so every given then statement we have a one backup step definition file, so that should be a coding format. So based on the each and every step we have a one java method, and so this will be a pure java code, and internally every module level or page level, so we are creating a locators and selenium logic to the respect to the step definitions. Okay, so we derive a a page layer. So page layer, we have a page action and locators, which are integrated in the, which are going to call in the definition. Okay, so that way it has been derived. And the other things, this is the main thing, main part. Other part in the sense, some supporting things. Let me show you that as well. So whenever we are talking about the testing, right? So we know that there is a kind of scenarios. Okay, so I'll tell you the scenario, first scenario, and then there are two scenarios I'm going to explain. Then we can, based on the two scenario, we have to create our prerequisite. Okay, so let me show you that. So there is a one kind of scenario. Okay, I want to execute. There is a kind of prerequisite and starting prerequisite and ending. Okay, so there are test cases. So there is a test case one, test case two, test case three. So let me show you that. So there is a one kind of scenario. Let's take it. The name is X. Okay, so this is a precondition or precondition prerequisite. Okay, and so suppose you're launching a browser. Okay, or launching a browser and login. So next one is our another activity. The last activity is log out and close. Log out and close. Okay, close the browser. And remaining within that, there is a test case. So we call it as a scenario here. Okay, so scenario one. Okay, scenario two. In terms of BDD, call it as scenario one, scenario two, scenario three. Right, scenario three. So just a second. Scenario three. So here the main objective is I want to run this particular test case. So within a one session ID. So one session ID in the sense there is a. So first I want to open a browser, launch and perform the login, and the session is created. Within the single session, I want to perform the first scenario, okay, and second scenario and third scenario, and then I want to log out with the session and close the browser. Then we can perform remaining test case similarly like this. So which means every scenario we have a one session. Okay, so this is a one kind of our real-time scenario. Okay, so to do that, we need to follow some kind of prerequisite. So how to call this prerequisites to with respect to the one login functionality test cases. Okay, this is a kind of one scenario to be built such a way that, which means starting prerequisite and ending, and in between the some set of test cases need to be executed within the same session. So that is a one kind of scenario. And next, let me there is another scenario. We clear it and create. Now there is a sim test case. There is a login functionality test case and logout. Okay, first login, perform the test case, then logout. Okay, so time being I'm writing two only. So here you can see the first one is a login and a scenario. Okay, in between scenario and logout. So there is another format. So there is another way of implementation of your test cases based on your application. Okay, how we can take this kind of test cases categorization based on your application behavior. Okay, and scenario and logout. Okay, we have to choose our test cases based on your behavior. Okay, so this time what we are performing each test case separate login session. Okay, so what does mean? So once you start your test execution, so first login, okay, first login and perform the test case. So perform the test case. So first login, execute the scenario one and log out. So within the one test case, one login session, one logout session. Similarly, if you are going to execute your next test case, you must log in. Okay, you must log out, then log in, perform the second test scenario, then again log out. So this here every session, okay, every test case there is a new session because the business required such a way that, okay, so based on this criteria, okay, based on this criteria, and Cucumber also provided some kind of prerequisite. Okay, so for that we need to create a one more layer. Oh, okay, so that is a application hook. Okay, application hook. Let me create here. Let me. So let me create here better. Okay, here is there, right? So here we can create a layer. The layer name is application hook. Let me add that application hook. We call as in terms of Cucumber, it is a hook. Okay. So what we can derive here is just simply add it text here. So at the rate before condition, at the rate before and after. Okay, as I mentioned, right? So whenever execute before the test, after the test. So similarly, we can add some kind of annotation or code which will be common to the your scenarios. So this, if I make sure this one is a application hook in the sense, it will be applicable for all the feature file. Or with respect to the feature file also, we can define it. Okay, so this is the one. And the next layer, the next layer is a configuration layer. Okay, so this is the fourth layer, right? It is the fourth. Let me mention the fourth layer, application app hook. And the fifth layer, and it is a fifth layer, and this layer is called a configuration, config data properties. So what is mean by config.property in the sense? So as we know, or like in the real time, we have some kind of environments. So usually how many environments where we can see in the real time? So basically we have a development environment called as a dev environment. Okay. So where that all the activity has been performed and developed and installed, and that application is running in the application of dev. So we can also access sometime, but mostly it is respect to the dev members only. And then after, the code will be promoted to QA environment. So QA or QA environment, and it is called as a testing environment. Okay. So then after, so in the testing, once we done that manual automation, then the code will be pushed to staging or UAT. We call as a UAT, user acceptance test or staging. Okay, so basically in general we have like three kind of environments. So and also there is a final environment and prod. So which are maintaining few only. So like what does mean this? The fourth environment mostly a manual testing, but a few in other multinational companies like Amazon and all those things are automated also. Like a simple kind of usability, like end-to-end scenarios are automated and they are also running it. But currently, most of the companies which are following a three environment. Okay, so forget about the dev. So dev we are just completed development, and we need to run. Okay, we have to run as an automation engineer. Automation engineer, we have to run that to environment and stage environment, our test implementation. So each and every environment we have a some specific URL, a different kind of URL is same, but there is a server. The base URL will be differs. Okay, the base URL will be differ to environment. So what are the kind of environment level? So we have to provide all the environment details. Okay, so all those environment details, so we can maintain a configuration file. Okay, so in every automation like engineer, we have to maintain one kind of configuration file with respect to the environment level. Okay, so here most of the time we can manage our browser type. Okay, browser type, whether it is a Chrome browser, Firefox browser. Okay, and mm, your common usernames, password. Okay, and database connectivity, database DB info. Okay, so you want to interact with that database, fetching the queries. So use data and database details, username, password, and suppose you want to run with this some kind of different environment what browser stack. So all those information which will be defined in that configuration file. Configuration dot property file. It is a property file dot property file. So how to read and all those things are which are going to implement. Okay. So this is the one. And now coming back to that, there is a so there is a one more activity. So let me add the name or draw the diagram first. Yeah. So coming to Selenium point of view, um, we need to launch the browser. Okay. So to do that, so we have a sixth layer. We have a sixth layer called a driver factory. So we can call as a WebDriver factory or Selenium driver factory, whatever. Selenium driver factory. So this is a how to this layer to be comfortable or to be uh, written a based on the on demand. Okay, based on the on demand in sense, I want to run my script in some kind of a Chrome browser. So immediately it has to be run in the Chrome. So which means on demand base, whether your script will be run in the Chrome, whether it is your script will be going to run in the Firefox browser. So on demand base, our driver to be initialized. So those kind of activities here we will define it. Okay. So launching a browser. Okay. Launching a browser and specify the type, browser type, BR type I mentioned here. So BR type. Let me write this text format. Launching browser type. Okay. And so we can yeah, this is the activity. So it is a kind this particular here we can support all type of browsers. Okay, all type of browsers. Okay, all type of browsers. Support all types of browsers. Our code should be like that. Okay. Yes. And yeah, so there is a one more layer or one more layer. Yes. Uh, yeah, test data layer. So let me create here. Uh, here name is test data. So why we use the test data? Yeah. So test data layer. Let me write the name and I will explain. Test data layer. And the layer is 7, right? 7 layer. So here basically there is a login screen. We want to test with a different type of user, admin user, supervisor user, okay, and client. So those set of users which we need to evaluate a different username password. The same functionality, but the user is different based on the user. That after login, kind of the dashboard page will be vary, and also that need to be verified, and also every user has to log in into the particular application. So to do that, we need to maintain some test data. So with a different set of user names and password. So here we can maintain test data in a traditional format. We have a Excel sheet. Okay. So but currently, most of the companies are using JSON format, YAML format. Okay. So if the data can be stored in Excel sheet and JSON format and YAML format. So all that format which we need to create it. Okay. So to do that, we need a kind of reader, the read-write ability. So there is a one more layer called uh, to supporting this layer only, and it is a common utility. Sorry, let me create a one component, and this component name is common utils. Okay, that is the eighth one. Common code, uh, common utils. So wherever we required a like a DB connection, okay, suppose here is a let me write as a text a common functionality to this particular framework. So read write, okay, read write about the test data like Excel sheet or Excel JSON, okay, Excel JSON ML, okay, ML, how to fetch the data from the ML, how to write the as a test data in the JSON format. So all those activity which will be performed by using there's a defined methods, okay, and also DB connection. So we want to get the database connection, okay. So those activities which will be added here, and the last activity with respect to the framework level. So we want to run this bunch of test cases. To do that, we need to create a one test runner, okay, test runner layer, okay. So that is a layer name is test runner. So I want to run, so we can develop individual, okay, so like a feature file, okay, feature file we can run it. So one person is develop feature file, he can run by using the feature file run click, okay, registration. So all the features are derived, we want to run in a single shot. So to do that, we need a testng runners, so which we have in a cucumber. So we have some kind of code or tagging, okay. We call as a cucumber runner option. So here we can define where is your feature file, okay, where is your feature file, what is the tag name, okay, what are the tags, okay. Yeah, the next layer is the final layer, ninth layer. So the layer is like test runner, right? So in the test runner, we need to specify, also segregate your test cases by using kind of tagging. Okay, so what is the tag and all those things I will explain. So these are the layers, so which we need to perform the designing of one framework. Okay, so after that, so we need to few more layers, so which are in the our infrastructure level. So the next layer is a GitHub. Okay, so to everything is developed in this as a Maven framework. Okay, Maven project, and we can push the code into a GitHub. Okay, so basically the GitHub which will contain, okay, it is a remote repository, so where we can maintain our code and the team members, right, which are having our team members, so they can also review and create their own test cases, and they can create their own branches. Okay, so main branch is there, development branch is there. Then after they can create a feature branches, which are the suppose developing a one person is a login feature, so he will create a login feature here, and suppose there are respect to the registration feature, so they can create a branches here and they can push the code here. So after pushing the code will be segregated in the remote repository level. Okay, so after this we need to create a one more layer called as a Jenkins. Okay, so this is a kind of Jenkins, and we what is a Jenkins? Jenkins is a like a CI/CD pipeline, so where we can run our jobs without manual interruption. So to configure the uh, pipelines, so they will like a pipeline which will take care of this running activity and publishing the job, publishing the test results. So we have a two kind of pipelines, job, okay, and there is a descriptive way is the pipeline. So there are two kind of activities which can perform in the Jenkins. And so coming to that Selenium, these are the Selenium script, right? So we need to configure one kind of infrastructure that is a Selenium grid. So a remote Selenium grid infrastructure. So So let me create a Selenium grid. So Selenium grid. So what is meant by Selenium grid? So we can run our script in a remote location. Okay. So this Selenium grid, which can be performed a parallel testing also, parallel execution also perform. Okay. So then another layer is like a Docker. Okay. So Docker here. So Docker and Selenium both is intercollaborated. So let me draw like this. Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. So later what I will do is I'll make this layer as a Docker layer. Within the Docker, we are going to create a one instance called Selenium grid. Okay. And there is a last one and AWS. So cloud environment, AWS. So our script need to be run in the cloud environment. So these are the things we are going to perform in this particular course. Okay. So now where we are from tomorrow session, we will build the feature layer, step definition layer. So and like we need to structure a kind of a page layer. So these three layers we are going to perform in the tomorrow session. So then after we'll finish a one test case by using all of the activity of layers. So once we finish these layers and start pushing our code to GitHub, and then we can create a Jenkins pipelines and we can trigger our script by using a pipeline with the Selenium grid in the Docker. So for that we need to learn that what is a Docker, what is a Dockerization, how to create infrastructure, your own infrastructure. Okay, once we create a one infrastructure, right? So then also we can same infrastructure we can create in the cloud environment, which is a AWS. So then we can trigger the jobs. So this is a kind of entire course. Okay. Yeah. So I will stop here. So let me know if you have any doubt or like clarification. So let's see that.